Hello and welcome back to the CV Warrior podcast. Here we shine the spotlight on the challenges faced by real life warriors, those who face challenges head on, embody resilience and inspire others with their journey. I'm Sam Isaac, and on today's episode we have another cultured warrior joining us. So we're honoured to have the Celtic Banshee, Jessica Barry, talk with us, Warwick's own Midlands super featherweight champion. Jess will be looking to build on her current ranking when she makes her 7th professional appearance this month. Barry began her journey as a professional when she stopped Christina Busowicz back in 2022. The Irish lass currently resides in Coventry with her family and is coached by John Pegg at the Eastsides Boxing Gym in Birmingham. 2024 has been a year to remember for the Warwick Warrior, who's keen to add her name to the history books of female boxing. Welcome to the show, Jess.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's all right. So just to start things off, let's just venture backwards. Can you share with us where you grew up and what your early life was like?
Yeah, so I grew up in Kenilworth, quite near to where we are now. I had parents my mum's from Coventry and my dad's from Lillington. But they both worked really hard so that we could have a really good upbringing up in Kenilworth. So yeah, it was a great upbringing. It was really loving. Had lots of big family, so yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I was gonna say I can relate a slight bit because I'm also from Kenilworth, but it's and I'm surprised that you kept it short because Kenilworth's it's a very interesting town. That there's so much to do, there's so much to see. You know, it's just it's one of those places where you're like, wow, I've got to come back here.
The worst part about Kenilworth was when I had to do my paper round, and everyone had the longest drives, and you'd have to carry the papers so far. Luckily, I had parents that would actually help me. Otherwise, I think it would have just been killer.
I was going to say, you'd probably have to do a 5K just get into their
yeah.
driveway. I know some of those roads. Yeah, they're very it's. So, and going back to your early life, were there any pivotal moments in your early years that guided you to the path that you're on now?
No, so like I had a great upbringing, a really loving upbringing with like great family, really supportive family. But I had a very strict upbringing. I think because my parents, especially my dad, like worked so hard for us to have the upbringing that we did in Kenilworth, it brought a lot of expectations. Like my dad was very, very hard on me, had a lot of expectations, and it was quite emotionally tough, very emotionally tough. So from the outside, it probably seemed like a brilliant life, but it was also tough too.
So can you recall what the younger Jessica dreamt of becoming when you were older?
When I was younger, all I wanted to do, I don't know, play football, be a footballer. I didn't really dream much of stuff like that. I just probably wanted to just be doing sports all my life at any point. That's all I really cared about at the time, or being successful. I remember from a young age, I just wanted to be successful and rich.
I think that's a dream that everyone follows pretty much. But so I know you were a fan of sports when you were growing up, but when you were younger, did you have any fears of fighting?
No. I used to get into a lot of fights, like as a kid, but I never had any fears of it. I just had fears of not being the best. Probably that was probably my biggest fear.
I understand. Well, you know, obviously, when you come from the mean streets of Kenilworth, you've got to be prepared for anything. You've got enemies around every corner.
I know, yeah.
So, were there any cultural influences during your childhood that shaped who you are today?
Yeah. So cultural influences, I'd say, 100% my dad. I said previously, my dad was really strict on me. Had a lot of expectations, put a lot of pressure on me. And I think that's probably a lot of the reason why I am like I am today. Whether it was playing football or any sport, all I wanted to do was to impress my dad and make him proud, because that was never something that was shown to me. It obviously was there, but it wasn't something that was put forward to me that they were proud of me. So that was something I always wanted to prove myself wrong. So I'd say that's probably where a lot of the drive has come from. Yeah,
because I suppose when you look up to people and they're not telling you that they're making you proud, it's sort of you'll always strive for them to see that even more. And I suppose with your boxing, that's definitely what you're doing now. I guess I imagine they're quite proud of you.
Do you know what? Like, it's taken my dad until I was 29 to tell me he's proud of me, and it wasn't even about a sporting achievement. It was at my wedding.
Oh wow!
So and it was mad to hear. So yeah, but like I know the years because I've heard it from other people, and like I realise as well that's probably not the only reason why I'm successful. I always thought I was trying to do everything to try and make him proud, but actually once I heard it, I'm just doing it because I want to be successful, and that's to make all of my family proud.
Yeah, and it's better to please yourself than to please other people.
And it's taken me a long time to realise that, but that's definitely where it's all come from and stemmed from when I was younger.
So in terms of your boxing journey, it's been very inspiring to watch. So I wanted to expand on that. So it's fair to say that boxing, it requires a lot of focus and a lot of dedication. Can you like break down your work life and balance for our viewers? Because I know that you do work. So what would you say the split is? Is it like 60% training, 40% adulting, full-time job, rest of that, or?
Yeah, so I think people from the outside that look into my life think that it's absolutely mental and it's just manic. But to me, it works, and it is tough. And I've worked pretty hard to get myself into a position now where it's a little bit less stressful, but the percentage... So some mornings I'll get up at like 5:30, 6 every morning, and I'll either be at the gym for 6 a.m. or I'll start work at 6 a.m. It's one or the two. Then I'll usually, if I've like this morning, I trained at 8 a.m, so I'll work till 8 a.m, trained, then straight back to work, do a bit of work more at home. Like I'm here, do this is like classes a few hours off, then I'll be straight back to work, then I'll train again tonight. I'm very lucky that I've now got a job where I do slightly reduced hours, but I don't really do reduced hours. I just do more hours that fit around my training more. So I train at like 10:30 every day up at the pro gym, nearly every day, not every day, but I just work around it. So my hours just fit into it. Would you describe yourself as a workaholic maybe? Yeah, 100%, yeah.
I was just thinking, because you were just saying that, and I've got to say, you've just made me feel like the laziest person in the planet. Because I rolled out of bed at like 8 a.m. I've managed to get on a train, and now I'm here doing this. But, so what is in terms of your boxing journey, what's your favourite memory that you've associated with that so far?
So... probably my first ever championship win, so the National Developments Championships. That was probably my favourite fight, because I remember I'd had about maybe 5-6 amateur fights at the time, and I'd been to few other gyms, and I remember training. I won't mention the gym in Coventry, but one of the blokes said, "You'll never win a championship. You'll never win a nationals with that style of fighting. It's not amateur. You won't win it." And I was like, whatever. But I did take it to heart a little bit at the time, and then when I won that, I kind of thought, like, it's just, that's me all over. I just want to prove everyone wrong. But I'd put so much heart into that fight, and the final was against one of my like mates. She was my sparring partner. So it was hard because she'd become one of my friends, like, from sparring, and I remember putting so much heart into it and so much time and effort that I burst out crying. Like, I just cried in the corner afterwards, and it wasn't from like, it was probably from tiredness more than anything, you know, when you just like the relief of like everything that you put into it. And I remember my coach at the time going, "What the hell are you crying for?" Because he was really tough on me. My amateur coach was really tough, and I remember just thinking, what on earth are you crying for? But it just meant everything to me at the time.
Yeah, I was gonna at the time. Yeah, it did mean everything. Sometimes things just all come together, and that's when like you just get emotional. It just has to come out. But that's really inspiring to watch. And the person in Cov who, and I don't think we won't name any names, because now that you are the Midlands, super featherweight champion, don't give them the satisfaction. They don't need a mention.
No.
That's
But
so and next question. Back in June, you became the Midlands featherweight champion. So congrats on that milestone, by the way. That's big. So are you noticing that, like, lining up new opponents, is that getting harder or is it getting easier? So like, do people want to have a pop at the champion, or are people a bit nervous?
I have no idea, because I don't do my matchmaking. That's John's problem. I think he really struggles with matchmaking me. I have had real trouble since being a pro getting at fights. I've had people pull out even when they've agreed, and then I've had to try and find a new fight date and a new opponent in 2 weeks, and the girls don't want to be fighting. And I think the girls from around here in England, like, they only want to be fighting these fights for titles, which one I do understand and do appreciate, but everyone wants to protect their records, which I absolutely hate. Like, I've not had one single phone call to say, do you want to come and fight on my home show? I'd fight any of them, like, at the right weights. And I think, no, it's not really been very easy trying to get opponents, and especially because I've stopped 2 now, I don't think it's going to become that much easier. But hopefully once I get more titles under my belt, then people will want those titles, so they'll want to fight me. But I don't know, it's more my managers and my coaches' decisions, but I just turn up. I don't care who I'm fighting. I just turn up. I just want to fight.
I think that's a great mindset to have. So, and speaking of fighting, we've seen you recently announce that you're planning to fight on the 13th of October at the Premier Suite in Cannock. Can you educate us on that fight, and, you know, who is the next opponent, and where will us as fans, where will we be able to get tickets?
So yeah, I'm fighting on the 13th, so next Sunday. I'm really looking forward to it. I have no idea who I'm fighting yet. That's usually the case. I will find out a few days before, unless I've got a title. Like the last fight, my title fight, was the only fight that I actually knew who I was fighting, and I knew that she would actually be turning up, because most people, like, have pulled out and stuff, but I knew she was tough and I knew she wanted it. So I'll probably find out next week.
So you don't know who the opponent is, but do you know where we can get the tickets?
Yeah, so the just message me on Instagram. People can get tickets from me. Sort it all out that way.
And do you want to say your Instagram on here?
It's Jess Barry Boxer.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So and also just inquiring, next fight, is your title going to be on the line?
No, so I'm going to be vacating my super feather title because I plan to come down to featherweight, maybe even lighter. Super featherweight is not the right weight for me. I came in light on my last fight for that, but it's just because I was on same day weigh-ins. That's the only reason I was fighting at that weight. Okay. And then it ended up just trying to get opponents. They're the only kind of opponents that coming up, like, available kind of thing. But no, I plan to fight at a much lower weight. Like, I'm already a week and a half out, like, on super featherweight, so it shows that's not the right weight for me. Yeah.
Okay, so each warrior's path, it's filled with lessons and challenges. So I just want to say, after you've been boxing for approximately 9 years. Previously, you played football. Has your love for, you know, the sweet science passed your love for the beautiful game? You know, do you love boxing more than you love football now, would you say?
So as a fan and love for sport perspective, football will always have my heart. I actually still prefer football. I still prefer to watch football. But when it comes to boxing, I'm not a massive boxing fan. Like, I do like boxing. I do love watching it, but I would never choose to watch boxing over football. I love what boxing does for me and what it does to me. It makes me a more successful person, and it makes me get up and drive to be more successful and dedicated to something every day. And that's what I love about boxing. It's not about the big fights, it's about what it does to me as a person. There's no shortcuts in boxing. If I was to lose at boxing, that's on me, because I've not put the work in. But I could work my ass off for 90 minutes on a football pitch and have the game of my life, but the whole team let you down. And that's what used to frustrate me about football. And that's probably the main reason that I came away from football, because I would get really frustrated on a football pitch and shout at everyone, probably be the least favourite person on the football pitch, because I knew that I was putting in the graft for 90 minutes, but not everyone else was.
Speaking of letdowns, what's your opinion on Man United at the moment?
Oh, Jesus. They break my heart a little bit. It's got past the point of it's actually getting a bit embarrassing. Yeah. And I'm usually not allowed to down talk United, because my dad would be like, Jess, come on, like, you know you're not supposed to be doing that. But even he, I don't think, has got anything to say about it at the moment.
I don't think you can let the side down, but they've been letting themselves down. So
they have been letting themselves down. I think since Fergie left, it's his fault. I'm going to blame him.
Speaking of great athletes, I'm aware that you share the rings with the likes of people like Niall Berry.
Yeah.
So can you explain what knowledge and techniques that you took away from, you know, someone of that level, their experience?
Yeah, to move my head, because it really hurts when he punches me. I spar with Niall most weeks. It's like if I can't get any sparring partners, it's like, yeah, it's all right, you can spar Niall, but I absolutely love it. And people, like the gym on a Sunday is buzzing. Like loads of people turn up for sparring and they're always watching and they're thinking, oh my God, you're not getting in the ring with him, are you? And I love that, but I train alongside like these warriors. That's exactly what they are. They're like some of the best in the country, and I train alongside them every day, and I strive to be like them every day. So they give me motivation just to be anywhere near the level they are. I want to be like them, and to turn up and train next to them every day, it's a blessing. I love it.
And I suppose what I find is if you're hanging around with people that are that have done well, it kind of elevates you a bit, just being around that person and just you know, like sharing experiences and stuff like that with them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I love being the underdog. So like coming into a gym like that, I've been there full time now since like January time. I love coming in the underdog and then working my way up. Like I want to be all at that level, if not more, higher.
Yeah.
Be the hardest trainer in the room.
No, that's good. So you mentioned before that like you played football and it's a group sport. Can you recall like when you were growing up, when you first realised that your desire to compete was higher than that of your peers and the people around you?
So probably when I got told off at primary school for being a bit too competitive, and I got a bit told off for it. I used to play in the girls' football team, the boys' football team, and then I used to play Saturday and Sunday, girls and boys as well. And I got told off once because I think I was being a bit too competitive. And my mum's dead chill. She's really cool, but even she lost it about that, and she went in and gave the biggest telling off to my PE teacher at the time. And I think probably there, and I think they realised that they should have put me in a different, more competitive school. I think probably there, you don't think about it at the time, but looking back, I think that's where it probably shows, even from such young age at primary school. And also, like, my brother was much more talented at football than me. He was the more talented one, and all I wanted to do was be better than him.
I never realised you had a brother. What is he doing now? Is he?
My brother, yeah, he's 3 years younger than me. He's got a little girl now, so that's really nice because he's taking the pressure off me. So, yeah, he's produced the grandkids before, so that's pretty good. But my brother is the typical super talented. Like he's great at everything he touches. It's so annoying. He was given that at birth. Like he was so talented at football. But I was given the ability to work hard. So. Yeah. My dad always said if he could put me and my brother together, that he'd be a millionaire.
Yeah, was he trying to like make like you see nowadays like people having like footballing kids and they're like, oh, this is Project Mbappe.
Oh yeah. So it's funny because my mates always tell me about this story that I used to say when I was like in year 6 that. When my dad, because I was quite slow, I was a winger, but I was very slow. And my dad used to send me around Abbey Fields in Kenilworth with like 1 kilogram weights on my legs to try and speed me up, to make me do laps. And to me, that was the most normal thing in the world. And then like I used to tell this story to people, and they'd be like, "That ain't right. Like you're not supposed to send your kids around the park with weights on their legs." I'm like, "Oh, aren't you?"
Well, and you're running up those big hills in the
Abbey Fields Hill, yeah.
And then
if you're from Kenilworth, you know the hill, that one.
And then you're walking past the leisure centre and all your classmates going out with their armbands on and their rubber rings, and you're just like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So, have you ever encountered a fighter with like a similar boxing style or a desire to win yet?
Similar, I mean, yeah, maybe Petra, who I beat in my national developments. She was so tough. I remember I used to sometimes punch her so hard and think she's not giving up. Like, and we used to have wars every single week in training. It was wicked. I loved it. I loved sparring with her. But I feel like most people are quite similar, aren't they, to have to get into that ring, especially as a pro. There's no hiding as a pro when you've got 8-ounce gloves on. But I don't think I've met many people with the same approach to it as I have. I don't know.
Would you describe yourself as more of like a brawler, maybe?
I'm trying to be less of a baller. I would say I won my whole amateur career. My whole amateur career was from just being a baller, just like coming forward, not like giving them a chance. But you can't be like that as a pro. So I'm trying to be bit more like I'm very much still a pressure fighter, but a bit more calculated with it.
So is that how you've adjusted your game plan? You've gone from, you know, being a pressure fighter to now trying to be calculated and set up the shots more.
Yeah, so I can be like, I never thought I'd be like a counter puncher ever in my life, but I'd say I'm not a counter puncher, but I still apply just as much pressure, but like I have the ability to be a counter puncher at the same time, so I can push on, but not always be throwing the first few punches.
Yeah. So aside from the other championship accolades that you've achieved, how did it feel coming so close to an elite national title during your last amateur fight?
So it was a bit mad because obviously that was my 19th fight. I'd won all other 18 fights before that. And so it was the national title. I never thought I'd get to that point. I never thought I'd even get that far in boxing, to be fair. It was never really my plan. And I thought I would be absolutely gutted with the loss, but I wasn't, because I knew it was the best I'd ever boxed. So I had never really boxed brilliantly. Like, I was just always obviously like relying on my engine and stuff. And in that fight, because she was such a good boxer, I had to box well, and it made me box well. And I was gutted, but at the same time, I boxed the best I had yet, so I couldn't really complain with that.
I was gonna say, if you give all you can, it's hard to be like disappointed. Obviously, you still will be a bit disappointed, but it's like if you've put all the effort in and you know that you have, then it sort of softens the blow a bit.
She was just a better boxer, and I couldn't complain with that. She was so much more experienced. She was GBC #1, couldn't complain, and it gave me the opportunity to go up and train. Obviously, I had GB trials off the back of that. So to me, my first loss and probably one of my biggest losses, but at the same time brought so much more other opportunities. So I wasn't annoyed really.
And now you're doing very well in your pro career now. So it's just, I think it's all about moving forward and, you know, looking at bigger things. Speaking of that, your mindset, it's undoubtedly played a significant role in your success moving forward. So how would you define a warrior mindset?
Always being able to dig deep. I think for me, it's like becoming uncomfortable in where everyone else is uncomfortable. Doing it when you don't want to. Not seeing any other option and being all in. And you know what? I used to think that being all in was like putting absolutely everything into your sport, but it's not. It's being all in with like your physical health and your mental health to ensure that you can be all in your boxing. I think you have to be a bit of a sadist to be a warrior as well, don't you? Like the pain that we put ourselves through, like I love it, but you have to be able to do it.
If you give up at like the first hurdle every time, it's just like there isn't really much point in carrying on, but you've always got to strive forward and try and do better. So do you have any like cheat codes that you're willing to share that help you maintain this mindset?
Honestly, I don't want to look back and think I didn't work hard enough for that. Like, even when I was at school, like, I remember not really doing that great in my last year and thinking, I don't ever want to look back and think, I should have worked harder. And so then I just worked really hard and made sure I got what I needed to do. And I don't ever want to look back when I retire from boxing and think, I should have worked harder. I could have put in that little bit of extra work. It's not an option to me. It's not an option to not be successful in something that I do.
That is, I would have to say that is probably like the best description of a warrior mindset I've ever heard. Like you literally don't give up at any stage, and you think, even when you think of giving up, you think, I need to work hard because otherwise I am going to end up regretting it later on.
I have no regrets for the things that I've done. Like, and I know that's the way I'm going to continue as well. Cannot look back and think, should have done more.
Nice. Well, looking back anyway, I've heard that you've represented Scotland. You have
Yeah.
Irish roots.
Yeah.
That make you dual heritage. So
Yeah,
are we
bit of a
correct? So, well, I can relate. I'm half English, quarter Irish, quarter Jamaican.
Yeah.
But so are we correct in assuming that you bleed green and white when it comes to the Old Firm derby?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All the way.
All the way. So would Celtic Park be the dream world title venue for you if you ever got to fight there?
Yeah, I'd say so. That would be absolutely wicked.
What?
I have a lot of supporters as well up in, like, through social media and that from up there, and they're always saying, I wish you'd fight up in Scotland, and like I feel like I'd get a good following up there, so yeah, definitely.
What about Old Trafford?
Oh, I'd happily fight there as well.
No,
Yeah.
So can you recall that? I know you said that you were a bit naughty in school. Can you recall the first fight that you ever had?
I mean, I wasn't naughty at school.
I
wasn't naughty. I was pretty good. I was over competitive. Questioned everything, so maybe a bit awkward. I wouldn't, but not naughty. But I questioned everything. My first fight at school, when someone was getting bullied at school, I was in year 3 or year 4. I think it's probably year 3, and someone was getting bullied. Every single fight I've ever been in has not been about me. It's been about someone else.
Yeah, well, that's...
I got into a fight about that, and then I remember in secondary school, my brother was getting bullied quite badly and came to me. He was crying his eyes out. He had mud all over him, and I was like, right, okay, I'm not having this anymore. So I went and beat the lad up, and my dad locked me out of the house and said, "You're not coming home until you've done the other lad in as well." And everyone thinks that I'm lying, but this is the honest truth. And then they were trying to obviously suspend me from school, and my dad was like, I'll go to the papers and say that you've got a bullying problem if you pursue this. And it's quite funny because some of the mates of this lad, my brother ended up being mates with them all, and they came and did some work at my house the other day. They were fitting my kitchen floor. So it's funny how it all goes around.
And then you pulled your hammer.
My dad was like, "Did you give him a discount?"
Make sure that's level. So I understand that your last opponent, Becky Ferguson, was the former Midlands title holder. So I wanted to know now, if are you now looking to challenge Kirsty Hill for the British #1 ranking?
I mean, no, because that's not the weight I want to be fighting at. Like, it's not that I wouldn't fight her. It's just I am so much more smaller. Like I said, I'm already sitting at that weight like comfortably. So she's not who I've been I'm looking at fighting for. But like people at featherweight, maybe below. That's where I'm looking at. Maybe Sian O'Toole. Okay. That would be a really good local fight. I think a lot of people from Birmingham would like to see that fight. Get down to feather and then maybe see whether I can get down to super bantamweight. That's where my manager and my coach would like to see me, but we'll have to see.
What weight is super bantamweight again? Is it
what in like kilos or
kg?
Yeah,
kg.
55.
55. Okay, because isn't that about 120 pounds?
It's about if I chop a leg off. That's about the weight.
So,
yeah, I think it's 122. I don't know. I'm like. I never know with pounds.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you better keep that leg because, you might have to fight those lads again.
Yeah.
So, in terms of impact and legacy, your boxing has not only impacted your life so far, but also other people around you. So, what impact would you like your career to have on aspiring, female warriors?
I think just to never give up and to don't let people tell you that you can't do something. Like I said, with you won't win this or you won't win that. Just don't ever let anyone tell you that. Just always work hard to your dreams. Don't stop. Don't ever give up on your dreams. Whether that's a boy or a girl or like even a family member. If they don't think that you can do it, just ignore them.
Yeah, because it puts a lot of pressure on you if someone says that. And I've read somewhere online that you'd love to fight for a title in Ireland. So how close are you to reaching that goal, would you say?
I'm not sure, and there isn't as many females from Ireland at the moment fighting. If you look on like BoxRec and the ratings, there isn't that many females. So it will be hard, but obviously there's so many more females coming through at the moment. In the next few years, it might be a possibility. I'm just taking every fight as it comes at the moment, one step at a time. Like, I'm hoping to fight for the Celtic title by the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
That would be good. So there's another Scottish show at the end of the year that I was really lucky enough to get on last year. It's like a dinner show. They're really, really great shows. So if I can fight on this, it's a Scotland versus England show, but if I can fight for the Celtic title, that would be great. That would be the next best thing for me at the moment.
Yeah. So you're currently training under John Pegg. I need to ask, what things that John has taught you about, what are the things that John has taught you about the route to success as a professional?
John's got a lot of experience, especially in my style of fighting. So that has been the main thing. Routes to success. He doesn't put a lot of pressure on me, John. It's quite good because he trusts me. He trusts that I train hard, but he if anything, he's got me to just relax more and actually have a bit more confidence in my own ability. But he's just simplified everything. I don't have to train different or like bring too much more to my training. It's just keep everything that I'm doing before, just keep it simple, slow everything down, and it seems to have been working for me. I have full faith in my corner and in John, and I think that's probably, it showed the most in my last fight, because everyone said to me, what's your game plan? Like, what's your game plan against Becky Ferguson? Like, this is a big test. And all I thought was, listen to my coach in the corner. That's all I need to do, because I have full faith that they'll know exactly what I need to do when I need to do it.
Well, yeah, it seems like a good matching.
It is, yeah. It's. I've really, really enjoyed my time since being there, and I feel like I'm enjoying my boxing the most I've ever enjoyed it. It's the most calmest and relaxed I've ever felt in my boxing as well, and the least pressure I've put on myself as well.
Nice. So looking forward, what would you like to accomplish within the next year and a half, would you say?
So I'd love to fight for the British, because obviously my mom's side of the family, they're English, and I feel like sometimes it can get a bit lost in translation. That I think my mom's always like, oh, you always just want to fight for everything that's the Irish side for your dad's side. It's not true. And then when I was on holiday this year with my mom, someone asked her what her bucket list was, and she said to watch me fight for a Commonwealth. So that, I didn't realise she'd actually felt like that. So for me, that would be huge now. Yeah. That now brings a lot of want for me. So that, and then I'd love to fight for a European as well. For them, those three, and the Celtic title. That's what I'd like to achieve.
And above all of that, what would you like to fulfil before you retire?
Contentness in my success. I'd like to know that I've put all the training, all the hard work to a point where it's paid off. Just contentness. That's
really awe-inspiring and good answer. That's wow. I'm blown away by that.
I mean, when I have kids, I don't ever want to say I could have won this and I should have won this. I want to be like, look what I've won. Look what you can achieve.
Yeah. Look at the path that I've carved out that you can also follow. Mm-hmm. You can do anything basically. Yeah. So, last of all, I just wanted to switch things up with a 12-round rapid-fire showdown. So fast questions and some fast answers, if you could, please. So, describe yourself in 3 words.
Tenacious, a little bit feral, and family-orientated.
Nice. What is a book, a TV show, or a movie that resonates with you?
Bend It Like Beckham. Or Calamity Jane.
Oh, nice. What is one thing that you can't live without?
Running, and my husband. I better say him.
No, that's nice, yeah. At least, we're only 35 minutes in, and glad he's got a mention. Yeah. But what is your favourite way to relax?
Running. Or going. I like to go for brunch with my husband, like that. I love going for brunch.
So running and husband. Okay,
yeah,
good to know.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he will not do any of the running. But he comes and watches.
Yeah. So, what is one of your favourite tracks on your current playlist?
I have loads, but do you know what? I'd actually say SoundCloud, because Paddy's, my husband, is a DJ, so he creates running tracks and running mixes for me to go running to. So they're my favourite. Big really dance tunes.
Yeah, I love kind of tunes like that.
Yeah.
Or speaking of, partying, what's your ideal post-fight vacation?
Anywhere with good sun, a good beer, and a good nightlife.
Nice. What is your go-to cheat meal?
Burger and chips and a pint of Peroni.
That is quality answer, I'd have to say. Who's your favourite current fighter?
I like Lomachenko. I love watching him fight. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and southpaw or orthodox?
Orthodox.
Nice. Okay. Boxing gym or the nail salon?
One after the other.
Celtic. Sorry. Oh God, I'm gonna get slated now. Celtic or Man United?
So United growing up through and through, and if you'd say that, BB, when Fergie was in charge, Celtic all the way. But nowadays, Celtic.
Okay, that's good. So, and also, last of all, can you say cultured violence in Gaelic?
I can't, no. I can say culture, which is culture.
Culture.
And I can say conestatu, which is how are you? Duna dollars, which is shut the door. Everything but...
So so you learnt Gaelic specifically probably when you ran like your nan and granddad's house?
Yeah, so my granddad used to talk to me in Gaelic and I'd look at him going, because he had such a broad Cork accent, I wouldn't actually know whether he was talking to me in English or Gaelic.
Oh, so it's been amazing talking to you, Jess. So before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or advice that you'd like to give the audience and aspiring athletes out there?
Just keep working hard, and when you think it's tough, keep working harder. No one cares. Just keep, if you want to achieve what you want to achieve, forget about thinking things hard. Just get on with it.
Yeah, no, that
but also I would like to say thank you to, like, obviously I can't, as a pro, you can't get to where you want to get to unless you have the support. So like the support of all your family and friends. Without them buying tickets, I would not even be on my 6th, 7th fight coming up. And without the sponsors, so even when the sponsor's just a small amount of money, it makes such a difference. Like, so obviously my work are sponsor me, and all the other sponsors from around here. There's too many to say, but without them, obviously I couldn't get where I am.
Yeah, that's a really great answer. So thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in. If you enjoyed, double jab that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and press that notification bell. And above all else, stay sharp, keep embracing that inner warrior, and venture with honour.